Abe, we're in this like kind of window of time where there's still time for agents to join this journey that we're about to go on. I think they're hearing a lot from us in the market center in terms of like, hey, you don't want to miss this, right?
Yeah.
Why don't
Which
they want
we've
to miss
heard
it?
before.
Yeah, exactly.
And for good reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's natural for someone to say, that's kind of crazy right now. Like what's different?
Yes. So Abe, what's different?
Oh man. So can I give a little background? Just a quick little bit of background. So one of the great honors of my life is that I got to launch a business with Gary Keller. In fact, here's a funny story, Nate. The first time Gary and I ever talked one-on-one was on stage at a mega camp, which is not a very private conversation. Gary's a very generous interviewer, and I actually screwed it up in the beginning. There were 4 of us, and we had kind of talked about, here, we'll talk about these things. And then he said, Abe, let's start with you. Tell us about you. No one prepped me for that. And I think I said something stupid like, I'm Abe and I like coaching. But he came back around and, so we did that. I did that 4 years in a row. And, a coach knows what they know because they work with good people. And there's a big difference between a coach and a trainer. And I think every great coach does training, and I think every trainer does, some elements of coaching, but they're very different animals. And I think that training is built to educate and to help a person understand and see the future and expand their vision. Coaching is built for impact. Here's the principle, and how we do it based on where you are today. And we don't call ourselves bold trainers, we call ourselves bold coaches. And, the business that Gary and I launched was MAPS Business Coaching. And the vision was fairly simple: go out into the world of non-real estate business and take these models and, coach businesses. And we've done that in just almost any industry that you can imagine, restaurants and medical clinics and, in all kinds of environments. We've adjusted these models and added these models. We've done economic models. And what I can tell you, Nate, is that no matter where you are in the journey, if you're a single agent, if you're you're a rainmaker and you've got a team of people, we all have a ceiling of achievement. Here's what I can tell you as common. So this is after 13,000 plus one-on-one coaching sessions. I was on stage with Gary because I was coaching at the time. There was only one person coaching more people in his top mastermind than me. And that was my mentor, Tony DeCello. And then we partnered. He asked me to partner with him. And then I kind of took over, his coaching clients. And so here's what I can tell you after all of this that I've learned. And I think you're going to agree with me on this. Behind the curtain, everyone is struggling with something. I know that that's true. And it doesn't matter how good it looks. And it doesn't have, maybe it's not a big, massive thing, but it's a person that has a team that's worried that their top person's going to leave. Or it's the person that has a team that has said all along, I could never do this without you. We're like a family, but now they're growing and their people aren't growing with them. It's the single agent who thinks that they have a good business, but the truth is every month is thin and they feel that. I've learned, Nate, that, the conversation around money is where shame lives most, and it doesn't need to. There's some really simple models, and I've also learned that energy is one of our most precious commodities. And I'm not talking cosmic, we're going to get together and light candles. That's a different conversation if I'm teaching in Colorado, right, than if I'm teaching in where you guys are. But nonetheless, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you and I don't have endless energy. I'm 52 today, and I guard very carefully those things in life that take energy, and I insert things that add energy. And so I know this. Sometimes we do something like bold for the energy shot. We do it so that for 6 weeks, I'm going to put myself in a catalyst position. I'm going in an accelerated position. Going to come into a room where we're going to tune up the business. We're going to have group accountability. We're going to laugh a lot at each other. We're going to celebrate victories. We're going to dive headfirst into, when we're falling short and what that's about. We're going to get better at that. And then and then I'll go back out for the rest of the week and just go and run and hit. And I have lots of recordings with me and Gary because I recorded all of our sessions, for 7 years. And I was just going this morning over some of them, and he talks about business. People think business success looks like this, like a line up. Have you ever known anyone, Nate, that can do more with a couple lines and some dots on a page than Gary Keller?
That's amazing.
Yeah. Looks like this. And he said, that isn't it. It looks more like this. And I would say it looks more like an EKG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you're up right now, you're up. And all that means is that, the challenge is coming. And when you're down, when you're feeling like it's not going well, I promise you, let me in your business and I'll find an area that you're winning. And so if I could specifically talk back to the question that you had about what's different in this bold, I will tell you this is not an adjustment or a rewrite. In fact, it's, I want to be careful how I say this. It's so different. I wondered why they called it bold at all. They call it Onward Bold. And with love and respect for the previous bold, it was pretty amazing. But Cody Gibson, who you guys I think have had come out to your area, I was Cody's coach for over 10 years. Cody is part of the reason I'm teaching bold. Cody and Gary gained up, and Gary called and asked me personally, would I teach bold this year? And that guy has done so much for me. I'll do anything to help him out in this initiative. And so I'm really grateful for the opportunity. But so Cody said to Gary, hey, we're going to get together. We have this session to start writing the new bold. I will bring the old materials. And Gary said, I don't want to see them. I know this firsthand, by the way. I don't want to see them. I'm going to write what I've learned. I'm going to write what I know we need. And this is my own words, but this is what I hear him saying. I'm going to write what I learned going from millionaire to billionaire. And look at this, Nate. I want you to see this. I've learned this from Gary. We work on the person, and then we work on a strategy. And then we work on the person, and then we work on a strategy. And that's how bold is written. We're going to expand ourselves as an individual, and then we're going to work on a strategy, and we're going to get really granular and get this thing executed. And we're going to go, back and forth. And so he did say, if we get done writing it and we get to the end and you believe something critical is missing, I will listen, but I doubt we'll have anything missing. And so it's a very different bold experience. And it's timeless principles are timeless, but the strategies of when that was written have needed some adjusting given how business is done today.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to come because my approach is, I'm a coach. My objective is if you and I are working on something and you say, yeah, I got it, and I'm not convinced, we're just not going to move on until I really know that you're going to be able to go and do this, and what will winning look like, and what are the obstacles you think will come, and then we're going to step back and recalibrate and move forward. And so I would say that it is the perfect culmination of here is how the ultra elite approach life and approach their business, but done in a way where we're going to meet everyone where they are. So if you made $3.5 million in GCI last year with the team, this is really applicable to you, really applicable. If you're brand new into this business, oh my gosh, if I could go back to when I started and slap the snot out of me, I would. And I would do something like this. And so I think everyone would expect me to say that. I'm the instructor. You're the team leader. Of course, we're saying that for good reason. There's a good reason we're saying it.
Yeah. So, Abe, take us, let's say it's mid-September. We've wrapped up our time together. How different do I think now as a real estate agent, for me, I'm also thinking through the lens of I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a friend, I'm a coach. How differently will I think because of this time we spend together?
One of the things that I love, the model that shows the ceiling of achievement and the breakthrough. Wish I had that here in front of me. My One Thing book is with arm's length, but I don't know what page it's on. So the one we talk about, it's the E to P model. there's a part of that I think is, to me, it's the most important part of the image. And it's the little Batman style explosion. We never talk about it. What's interesting to me is you and I, Nate, we don't slip in the middle of the night from one level of performance into the next level. It's not a smooth, seamless. That little thing is it's a little explosion. It's a violent action. And we don't have the choice of whether or not it's time to evolve, or whether or not it's time to, to analyze if what we're doing is working, or just, micro adjust what we're doing. We don't have the choice because it's simply required. And I think the difference is that the person that, now listen to me when I say this, you can go to Bold and it can do nothing for you because you didn't show up. You'll get out of this what you put into it. But the person that comes and drops their guard and says, I'm in, I'm going to do this, that person, they will come out much better equipped to deal with challenging times personally and professionally, and how to lead those around them to deal with challenging times, which is really important. They will have a much greater understanding of the economics of their specific business, and they will have a full alignment of the schedule and the daily activities required to deliver their goal, and the strategies to deploy when they're off goal. And what's interesting about September, so we're heading into what I like to call the confluence of the year. Do you know what a confluence is?
Everything comes together?
Yeah, that's right. And I'm a fly fisherman. Do you fly fish?
I don't, no.
We can fix that.
Okay. Count me in.
So fly fishing is different than like any other fishing, because what you're doing is you're mimicking the bugs in the water at different stages. That when people see bugs coming off the water, that just means that they've hatched and they've come as midges up, and now they're moving on. And so fish are always eating. But so you're trying to put the food source, trying to match the food source and put it where they are. And where bug activity will be the best oftentimes is at a confluence where two rivers come together. And the reason for that is there's a lot of oxygenation that occurs in the water because of all the churn of these two rivers coming together. Therefore, there will be a lot more bugs. Therefore, there will be a lot more fish. And therefore, there will be a lot more fishermen get there early, especially on the weekend. The last quarter of the year is the confluence of our business, because the work we do will have an equal impact on 2 different years. What you do in this period of time to set up the end of the year, and what you do for the last three months of the year, will tell you, it will determine, am I sprinting into the new year in a position to have my best January ever, or am I ramping down the year, therefore necessitating that I have to come back and ramp up again? And so I think this is the perfect time to insert something like this right before the confluence of the year, because you're setting up results that are equally impactful inside of 2 years, the end of this year, the beginning of next year. There's anywhere from a 30-day to a 120-day delay in our activities to when we get paid. And why not stack the deck? I think, let me see if there's anything else. I mean, there's a lot that's different, in the new Bold, but what isn't different is it's experiential learning. Adults learn by doing, and we've got to move you about every 20 minutes. I can't think of any reason why a person wouldn't come. That the next 6 weeks are going to come and go regardless, Nate. And so the question I have for people is, do you want an unfair advantage or not? Totally up to you.
That's great. I want an unfair advantage.
So do I. So do I. What is interesting to me is, I've done a lot of teaching and a lot of training, and I've done lots of coaching, and I have coaches, and I'm heavily involved. However, do you know why you teach? I think some people think you teach because you know. That is not why you teach. You teach to learn. We teach to learn, and so that's the reason I'm in it. I want to continue to be the tip of the spear in the world that I operate in. And I don't know if you know this, I wasn't going to teach Bold this fall. Did you know that?
I didn't know for sure. I don't know exactly what went down. I know.
Well, I'll tell you what went down. Laura Dana is a force of nature.
She's ruthless when she needs to be.
Yeah. And I love a group of people. First of all, Leslie and Andy Peters, I hold them in the very highest regard. Another one of the great honors of my life is I got to be their coach for a number of years. And again, I want to reiterate, great coaches, and I hope that that's me. Great coaches know what they know because they work with great people. So I'm an amalgamation of the people that I've got to work with. So when I say something and it's smart, I'm channeling someone, that I've worked with. But nonetheless, when I found out who it was, and I found out that Laura Dana was not going to let it go. And when I say me, I mean the whole Bold team and Gary. I was like, let's do it. I just got to be home for Gavin's football games on Friday night.
Okay. Well, we'll get you.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to tune everybody up in every aspect of the business: financial, organizational, personal, the daily habits, including accountability, getting really clear in your economics with plans for how to measure and how to adjust when it's off. And then any of the strategies that speak to this day. We've got some really cool stuff we're going to do on social media. Now, someone just threw up in their mouth. They're like, social media. Look, I get it. I don't have Facebook or Instagram on my phone, but my team posts for me. We're going to teach you some really, really cool things to build community and how you can gain following in your local area. And Ken, do you know who Ken Pozak is?
I don't.
Ken's in Orlando.
Okay.
Ken there's this round robin of 3 producers that take over the number 1 production spot inside the entire company. And Ken keeps doing that. He moved to Orlando 7 years ago with no team, no real estate team. And he's built it on YouTube, and he helped write and author all these things and help provide the tools. It's a good close friend of mine. He's an amazing guy. So we're really going to help with those things. I'm going to end with this. I want to share with you a really cool experience, if I could.
Yes.
Is that cool, Nate?
Yes.
I was teaching in Michigan. I was coaching Bold in Michigan. It's my first one. I was nervous. It was going great. We do this thing called the Bold 100, right? It's 100 completed contacts in one day. That's a catalyst event. That'll move you forward. So there was a husband. They were not husband and wife yet. They were engaged, and they were on different teams. And they came up together and said, "We're going to do it." And she's pretty outgoing, and he is really reserved. And I thought, one of you is going to do it. But I very encouraging. We show up the next week, and she won't make eye contact. So of course I just went over because we get close.
Yeah.
We're in that room doing that work together. We're going to get to know each other. And I walked over and I said, "You're not looking at me." She's like, I didn't do it. A total failure. Now, as a coach, what I can tell you is you and I and everybody else, we're typically our own worst critic. And I want to harness that. I don't want to lose the growth that comes with faith, looking in the mirror and asking yourself the real questions. When would I have known? Looking back, when in the week would I be able to tell I wasn't going to make it? What could I do differently? Was I really committed? Was that the right goal? We're going to do all that. But before we do, we're going to explore the win. So I said, what did you do? Listen to this. I only completed 76. What's the most you've ever done in a day? 18. What was the result? I set 2 appointments. And so I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. You increased your daily contact record by 4x or whatever it is, and set 2 appointments in one day. And you're pretty committed to being a failure around that. Do I have that right? She said, and her thing was, well, I failed, didn't I? And I said, well, you maybe didn't get your goal. But if your daughter came to you and said, hey, I did this and I didn't get the number, but I did more than ever. And here's by a long shot, by the way. It's not like she made 25 contacts. Yeah. A long shot. Yeah. Never done it before. I said, what would you say to her? You failure? Where's the other 24? She's like, no. I said, it's interesting. You'll turn that goal into a club and beat yourself to death with it, but you wouldn't do that to others. And I said, here's what we're going to do. Will you commit to do it again? But this time, let's you and I spend 15 minutes after Bold today and walk through how to succeed. all the way, how to get there all the way. I love that story because business under the best of circumstances is hard, and you and I aren't going to get it right every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we're not going to change our DNA, change the way we look, change our approach, move us forward. You know what a team looks like that a team that does 500 closings in a year, do you know what they look like 2 years earlier? They look like a team that did 200, and 500 feels like a dream that can never happen. And do you know what a team that does 200 today looks like that did 80 2 years earlier? They look like a team where 200 seems impossible. I mean, we all have a pretty good track record of not maximizing our potential. And left to our own devices, we'll constrain ourselves. My job is to fly in there, rip off the constraint, shake you up, sugar you up, kick you back out into the week with clarity and motivation and excitement, and then come back, debrief, catalog the learning, get pumped, get clear, go do it again.
So good.
That's a recipe for success.
I can't wait, Abe. Abe, thank you for the time today. I can't wait to spend time with you in person, and very grateful for you and for this journey. So
I'm very honored.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it. I get nervous, I feel the trust that gets put in me, and I will do everything to fulfill that expectation.
I believe you. I really do.
It's a sacred charter.